Hey guys, Brandon here with the Same Old Podcast. We are here tonight in St. Augustine, Florida for a Charlie Kirk vigil that was put together kind of at the last minute, kind of going around a local group. And so not a huge crowd expected because of the last minute announcement, but we're here to ask some questions and see what the people have to say. Let's check it out. So what brings you out here today?
To honor Charlie Kirk.
What kind of an impact has Charlie Kirk had on your life or the life of anyone, you know, extended family, friends, that kind of thing?
Well, I'd say I probably really only learned about him maybe in the last 2 years. And then to find out how young he was, how many people he impacted, how many young people's lives he shaped, and helping to get Trump elected.
Can you think of a notable memory or message that he maybe made that stands out to you that you kind of took away from him and have carried on?
There's a lot. There's really a lot. But I mean, I think what most people should know, or when they think about him, they should think about healthy debate, that it's okay to disagree. He had really strong convictions about Christianity and pro-life and, being a conservative. But at the same time, he would always invite people to have a healthy debate with him. And I had seen him in all the videos that I watched, even though I never got to see him in person. All the videos that I ever watched, that was really what it was all about. He was like, prove me wrong.
Yeah, I love the, prove me wrong message. What do you think he would want us to do moving forward based on, his recent passing?
Well, I definitely think that, my husband and I were just sitting there talking about, I said, someone as controversial as him. And he was like, I don't really think he's controversial. And that's very true. I think that he would not want to be seen as controversial, but I would think that he would want his message to continue. I would think that he would hope that this would bring us together, not further apart. I think that that's what he really stood for and really worked for, basically all his adult life.
Yeah, I think a lot of his followers would say he's not very controversial. But of course, in this day and age, it seems like anything is controversial, right? You could, as they say, you could cure cancer and half the people would demonize you for it. Do you have anything else you'd like to add for the viewers watching at home?
Just that I'm very sad. I think we lost a great one. Yeah.
I'm with you there. Thanks for talking. All right, guys. So what brought you out here today?
After like the death happened and everything, and I went with my parents. My parents are coming here.
Okay. How about you?
I came out here just to remember what he did and just to respect his death. Make sure he's remembered.
What kind of an impact has Charlie had on you guys' life? How long have you been following him? That kind of thing.
Well, I wasn't really, I actually, at first I wasn't really, I disagreed with some things from him. So I liked some of his debates, but I didn't really pay attention to him until after all that happened. And it just I don't know, I just got really pissed off that happened. And it was really upsetting, because I do watch politics and stuff, just I watch different people.
Okay.
I had kind of watched him only on the side, just a little bit, but I did agree with most of what he said. And when he died, I was really just sad and mad. How could someone do that? So.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you maybe even disagreed with some of his points, and I'll tweak this question a little bit for you. Is there a particular message that you disagreed with him on that you can remember? And my question to you would be, is there a certain message that you learned from Charlie that really stuck with you? A message or a talking point or anything like that?
I think his best message is about Jesus Christ. I think that's his best message he ever had.
Right on. How about you?
Could I answer his question?
Sure.
I did disagree with one of his points about not going to college. I think that college is a very good place just for education, even though, sure, it may be overpriced, but it is good to learn, even if it is college.
Okay, so you're saying it has its merits in place, but it also has some problems maybe associated with that, like anything. Everything has trade-offs, I would say, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. How do you guys feel about free speech in general?
Good. I think people should have free speech.
Say whatever you want, whenever you want,
Yeah.
and deal with the hard
Yeah.
consequences of that.
Yeah, basically what he said. Anyone should be able to say what they want.
Yeah, that's like the country is founded on. Free speech is one of like the first things that was in the amendments. Yeah.
First Amendment. Do you guys have any messages or thoughts to anyone watching from home that you would want as a take-home message for any viewers out there?
Maybe pray for him and his family, and of course follow Jesus Christ.
Nothing that I can really think of on the spot. So
Hard to build on that.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks very much for you guys coming out and talking, taking some questions, and keep the free speech going, okay? All right. Thanks, guys. Hey, man, good to have you. What brings you out here today?
So, I mean, I'm like everyone else. I've seen little clips of Charlie Kirk here and there, and it's not like I ever met the man in person. It's not like I know everything he believes, but from the message I got from him, I'm not going to be able to quote him exactly, but when debate stops, when talking stops, that's when violence ensues. And for the longest time, I've pretty much sat on the sidelines. I've watched, I paid attention, but I've never come out to stuff like this. I never really do much other than pay attention to what's online. So it's kind of, even when Butler happened, I had the thought of maybe it's time I actually start getting more involved. So it's a little too late on my part, and I feel kind of guilty. I mean, it's not my fault, but I feel guilty for not doing more sooner.
Yeah, I don't think you're alone in that sentiment. Even in my position, I'm in the same way. I feel like I'm too little, too late, should have got involved, should have been more vocal earlier, that sort of thing, to have a bigger impact. Is there a particular message, for as little as you've maybe been following Charlie, is there a message that really rings out to you that you feel that you're going to convey and bring forward in your life?
I've been just debating all that in my own head, and I'm still having trouble making sense of all this because Charlie Kirk was killed while talking to people that disagreed with him. I'm sorry, but what kind of message is that? I hate to say it, but it seems to me like the message is they don't want to talk.
Yeah, I think Charlie has put a microphone in front of more people that disagree with him than anyone else on the planet, arguably.
He's like all of us. He probably got frustrated with it. I remember for the longest time thinking, how does this man not get frustrated? Because sometimes watching his stuff, it's like talking to a wall. And, he's a better man than me because I'm sure there were times he got frustrated and angry, but he handled himself, composed himself way better than I could in those situations. And, well, the patient, polite man got killed. Who's to come next that's going to take his place? Is that person going to be as patient and polite and willing to listen like he is? Hopefully.
Do you think that more Charlie Kirks were born in this instance, like yourself, right? You now are using this as a catalyst to maybe get involved. Do you think there are more people like you?
Oh, absolutely. How many hundreds of college students were there that day? There's been countless, any social, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. He's all over. This is the only thing I'm seeing on social media. And getting off social media is probably the most healthy thing for everyone to do right now. But not talking and not being involved is not the thing to do because look at where that got us.
Yeah. How important is free speech in America?
If free speech... The Founding Fathers made the First Amendment free speech. The one right after that was the Second Amendment. If the First Amendment fails, what's left? We cannot allow that to happen. We have to maintain the First Amendment. We cannot devolve to where our only option is the Second.
Yeah. And on that note, the people that are so uncomfortable with certain truths or narratives being stated, would you feel that they just need to kind of sort of work within themselves to sit with that discomfort and kind of handle that without resorting to what happened to Charlie?
Charlie Kirk always went to college campuses because these are young adults that are going to be future voters, and they're supposed to be some of the most well-educated, in the middle of being educated, but they're supposed to be some of the brightest, some of the most well-educated, and they are adults. People often refers to them as college kids. They are not kids. They are adults, and they should be able to handle tough discussions, difficult topics, controversial topics, without having temper tantrums, without shooting people. And if that is what you're going to resort to, you are not adult enough to be involved in adult topics. And if you're thinking of doing something crazy like what this Tyler Robinson guy did, you're just proving Charlie Kirk right. How many Charlie Kirks were made, on the 10th? Countless. That's all he's done is make more Charlie Kirks.
And at the university level, that's supposed to be the place of an exchange of ideas, right? And that's one of the reasons that Charlie would go to college campuses, is for that reason. And for him to kind of meet his end there is mind-blowing to me. Is there anything else you'd like to share with anyone watching at home, a message, a take-home message, or anything else you'd like to send out there to the YouTube world?
So Charlie Kirk's message was always discussion, talk, debate, do not resort to violence. But it's becoming more clear to me that they don't want to talk. And the other side, people have been already claiming this guy is right-wing, that he's a Trump supporter, that he's Republican. He's not. His family was Republican. He from what I've been hearing, he was associated with some anti-fascist college group. He wrote, "Hey, fascists, catch," on the bullet that shot Charlie. You're not going to like where this goes if you do not want to just sit down and talk. You're not going to like it. It needs to calm down. Because I'm not going to sit around and wait to be a fish in a barrel and be shot.
Awesome. Thanks very much for your thoughts, man. Appreciate you. So, my man, what brings you here today?
Just to support and I guess the outrage of what happened and how we've come to this point in our lives here in this country. The divisiveness is just out of hand, and that's what I've been heartbroken for 3 days. It's just been awful when you think about how it all transpired and what happened, and that was just needless. It didn't have to happen that way. He gave everybody a voice to fight his opinions, and not even fight, but just to voice their concerns about his opinions. And he always gave everybody that free stance, respectfully, peacefully, to say their mind. And he said his, and that's the discourse we need to have. We need to have open dialogue. We need to have respectful dialogue, and have that to be able to make things happen. We may never agree on everything 100%, but if we can come to a common ground as people and respectfully do that, that's where we have to get back to. I mean, it's just I take a lot in his faith and hope that I can, mimic that faith. I try every day to be a better man and to live in Scripture and kind of get back to that. And that's what I hope more people do. I hope more people can find that peaceful way of just to kind of talk through disagreements and items. Nobody deserves to be shot and murdered for their beliefs, whether it, Republican, Democrat, it doesn't matter. Nobody deserves that. So,
what would you say Charlie's biggest impact was, either on you, or you could go large and say on the country?
I think his biggest impact was knowing the younger youth in America and being able to reach them. I'm not young, right? I'm 62, but he reached me and taught me things that I never thought that a person in their 30s could teach me, but that's because they have an open mind and an open dialogue. And I think his ability to capture the youth, that next generation coming forward. I mean, in all honesty, Washington's got the people that are there for their lives for 40, 50 years, they need to go. They're not doing anything to benefit anybody but themselves. So that kind of change that I saw him being able to do, I think that was the best part of his whole mission and what he believed in. He loved the country, but his first love was, Lord and Jesus and believing in Jesus and that whole belief. And, that's where I am, that's my first belief is that's where it all starts. And that's the foundation for everything.
Yeah. And he was constantly advocating for that. I feel like he answered a huge percentage of his questions with that first.
Right.
And then he had to scale away from that just to get rid of that angle because he would get so much objection.
Pushback from it because people all of a sudden get offended when you push any kind of religious beliefs into that, right? And again, that's another thing that nobody should be, talked down to or ridiculed for because everybody has that right. I mean, there's many different religions in the world, and I don't, if you believe in something different than I do, that's up to you. But and that's what he believed in, and that's how he lived his life. And I just think it's it's strange because when Jesus came to the world, right, he spoke all these things that just infuriated people. Nobody wanted to hear it, and he got put to death for it too, right? And luckily for my opinion, luckily for that, he saved all of us. And that's what I believe in, and that's what I take to heart. And that's the kind of beliefs that I believed in Charlie, and what he always put forth first was that belief. And, that's what I think just took me by the, and he lived it because he was respectful to everybody he talked to. There was no name calling, there was no hate, there was no screaming, no, it's just, he's like, just prove me wrong. I'll give you the microphone, prove me wrong. And I think that was his best attribute.
Yeah. Do you think because of this tragedy that more Charlie Kirks will rise up?
I think people will try he's, like MLK, Martin Luther King. He was a guy that just has never been able to be replicated in that movement. People have tried, but people didn't have his discourse and his beliefs either in the Lord and what he put forth first. He was always that peaceful guy and talked about peace all the time and his faith. There's very rare that somebody comes back around that can pick up that torch. I don't know enough about what he built at Turning Point. I don't know if there's that next person there. But I just find that he's a 1 in a million type of guy that you don't see.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's 1 in a million, maybe even more aggressive of a number. Yeah. And I think it would take an insane amount of volume of people to come up to try to even touch the impact that he's had.
I totally agree with that. I just don't think it's proven that nobody's. I think I think in 10 years he probably would have been the president of this country. I truly believe that, and I think that's what scared that extreme left even more. Was like, oh, we can't have this guy in power. So yeah, that's the sad part. I just don't. You just wish for change. I pray every day for it. People just have to come together and have a more civil way of going through things and go through that whole discourse. And there's few people in my life that I've been able to look back and say, okay, that's the way it should be done. If I may disagree with somebody, but yet they were able to have that strength and power to let me go forward, but yet change my whole point of view and like, wow, okay, I never looked at it that way. And that's what you need. If people can't come together and kind of come to that middle ground, what's ever going to change? You can't,
Yeah, I feel like there's a graceful way to do that, right? To let people fall and stumble as they're going along, as they're evolving in their own journey and understanding of any of the topics that are out there. And we're all on our own little journey at any point on the timeline. And I think he was just trying to keep a steadfast trajectory towards his truth. I think we lost a good one, I guess.
I agree with that. I was in total shock when it happened. I couldn't believe it. I got in my car, left work, and then on the radio I heard it, and I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" Like, had no idea. Yeah. Never would I have thought that would have. I don't even think of those in terms of things of that happening. Right? I don't. I guess because I'm not looking to silence anybody. I've never met anybody that I wanted to silence or think that way of. So. Nobody's ever scared me that way, so I guess he scared a lot of people, and I don't know why, because he wasn't what we see the politicians of today doing, the back and forth, the name calling, the Nazis, the this, the that. He was never any of that. He never did that. So I don't know why. I don't know why people were afraid of him, because he didn't make that appearance to be afraid of anybody. I don't think.
A lot of the words, anyway.
No, yeah, right.
Is there any sort of take-home message that you'd like to tell the viewers, people watching at home? Any just original thought that comes to mind? A message you'd like to share with anybody?
Just get back to the roots of faith and treating your fellow person with that respect, and live your life that way. Don't live, it's like parents always said, treat people though you want to be treated. Jesus said that as well when he came back. Don't be the one that you can't be casting the first stone. You can't, you have to listen to people and be able to work through that and give them that respect. That's what I take away from it, is that.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, man. Best of luck to you.
All right.
Take care.
Have a good night.
Thank you. You too.
Dear Lord, Heavenly Father, we thank you for being able to have everybody show up here tonight and gather together for the remembrance of a beautiful man, Charlie Kirk.
So what brings you out here today? What are we doing?
I'm walking for Charlie Kirk. Support Charlie. He was a great man. He believed and wanted everybody to believe, and didn't push his beliefs on people, and just wanted people to, freedom. America's free, and you got to fight for that.
Have you been following Charlie and his message for very long?
Oh, for years. I listen to his podcast every day while I'm at work. I've always been a fan of what he's doing and how he does it, and he just was a brilliant guy and a good guy.
Yeah. Out of all the time you've listened to him, is there a particular message that particularly calls to you that you kind of convey and bring forward in your life and maybe share with others?
Marriage, family, traditional marriage and family, and how important family is, and to have faith.
Do you feel like that's become a contentious issue in today's climate?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, people they don't think about that stuff anymore. They're too busy worried about how many views they get on Facebook and how many likes they get on TikTok.
How do you feel about free speech in general? Do you feel that it's very important, not important, should be regulated? What are your thoughts on free speech?
It's the most important thing. We should be able to say whatever we want. That's it, Nobody should be able to tell us what to do. That's our amendment. It's our right. And that's what Charlie Kirk did. He wasn't trying to push nothing on anybody. He just wanted people to come out and, you explain your beliefs and he'll explain his beliefs. And you might have a belief, but he has facts. He was a very factual based person.
What kind of impact has he had on you and this country?
On me personally, a big impact, and on this country, a huge impact. I mean, I'm fighting for, to get younger people more involved in what's going on and not just being blindsided, and, to let people know that it's okay to have different beliefs and different views, and we're still all Americans,
Do you feel that in the wake of what's happened to Charlie, that a million more Charlie Kirks will kind of rise up and maybe be more vocal moving forward? What do you think is going to happen there?
There'll never be another Charlie Kirk. He's one of a kind. Yeah. But there will be, I believe that there will be, and I hope there's a lot of people that will still carry on his message and what he believed in, and to fight for our rights of freedom, and our amendments as Americans, and put Americans first.
Is there any message that you'd like to share or convey to the viewers, people watching at home?
There's no need to have violence over different points of views, over political views or whatever view you have, That's just what I believe. You might believe something different, Doesn't make either one of us wrong unless it's something that's facts,
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, man. Appreciate it. Best of luck to you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I say these things in your name, Lord Jesus.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you guys again.
JP,
Yes, sir.
what are we doing out here tonight?
Tonight, we all gathered together as a community to celebrate the life of Charlie Kirk and everything that he stood for.
What would you say Charlie stood for? What kind of impact did he have on you?
Well, the impact that he had on me, he gave me, a strong political view, but on top of that, more importantly, he proclaimed the name of Jesus Christ. And that's the one thing that I think, just as a country and as a whole, as a group of people, we all need to really take and soak in, because everything that he said and preached and proclaimed was nothing but truth.
Out of all the things he did proclaim, what would you say one of his strongest messages was, or one that sticks out to you the most that had the biggest impact on maybe you and your community?
The one that it had on me was to take a day of Sabbath, that he always spoke on. You know, you turn off the cell phones, the computers, the TVs, you turn the world off from you and your family, and you focus on bringing your family together and focusing on each other, but also focusing on your beliefs and your faith with God. And to me, that's a beautiful thing. I feel like if all of the country, or just more people in general, stood on that foundation alone, it would not only just improve their lives, but it would improve us as a society. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, certainly. Do you think in the wake of this tragedy, this will maybe give some people some strength to kind of rise up, maybe be a little more vocal, maybe turn some people in their faith, maybe turn some people politically? So what do you think the ramifications of this tragedy are going to be?
Yeah, most definitely. I think it'll definitely turn up some voices. The man died speaking the truth, like I said before, and what he was doing when his life was taken was practicing not only his God-given, but his constitutional rights, the very thing that our country and our nation was founded on and stood on for years, and that we've all seemed to kind of sort of lose sight of within the last 15 to 20 years. And now that the sin has really started to enter our nation and really pervert things around, the things that he stood for and everything, that's what killed him. You know what I mean? Sadly. God works his will in his own ways. You know what I mean? I think Charlie had said everything that needed to be said. I'm not saying God took him from us, but it was within his will that we are where we are now. And I think because of that, the things that he said will carry through the voices of the rest of this nation and the people that he had touched.
Awesome. You mentioned constitutional rights within that. How do you feel about the First Amendment, freedom of speech?
Oh, it's a very powerful thing. I think we all need to practice our freedom of speech a lot more. That's what Charlie did. You know, Charlie was never one for violence. He never wanted anything to do with the violence. He was one of the only political advocates that I know who would go out and speak not only his own political views, but he would give the opposing party a chance to come up and debate and to talk and to point out their own arguments while practicing his first constitutional right.
Yeah, I can't think of another figure that gives their, I'm going to say opponent, right, the opposite viewpoint, more microphone time than Charlie did.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. Well, great thoughts. Is there any message that you'd like to share with the people watching at home? Any take-home message or any additional thoughts you'd like to share with everybody?
Yeah, man. Dive into your Bibles. Find you a good church. The Gospels is the only thing that's really going to carry us through this. Moments of prayer and everything like this are great and they're amazing. They're a beautiful thing. And don't just leave those moments of prayer the only thing that we take away from this. Go home and read the scriptures. Practice what Charlie practiced. And get the word and the gospel out, man, because it's all good news, and we could all use some good news in this moment of time.
Awesome. Thanks so much for your time, man.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Kenzie, we are here at an event you organized for the Charlie Kirk Vigil here in downtown St. Augustine, Florida. So tell me a little bit about what's going on. Why are we really here tonight?
So after what happened last Wednesday, his voice was silenced, and he's leaving it up to us to continue his story and continue to do what he wants us to do and be the voice of our country, whether it's politics, spiritual, just be the voice. We need to be heard because things are going south and people aren't opening their eyes. They just believe what they see on social media versus coming out with facts and help and comfort, because this is a hard time.
What kind of an impact has Charlie had on you and the people in your community?
Well, I am 20 years old, and my generation is just unserious in a way. You see things on social media, and they're just editing things and taking things out of context. And for me, that's messing up my future. If me and my husband want to be able to have kids, if we want to be able to feel safe just going out here by ourselves, we have to make a change. And Charlie Kirk spoke up for us and wanted to make the world a safer place. And that's what I want to do.
Out of all the time you've listened to Charlie, and I don't know how long that is, I'd love to hear. So that's maybe question one. How long have you been listening to Charlie? And then as a follow-up, what's one of the messages that has really stuck with you from him that you really carry on in your life?
So I have been listening to Charlie a little bit before the election. I've always kind of been into politics, but just kind of what my family says, I'll just look into it a little bit. But I was able to vote this year, and I was like, I'm going to do my due diligence and I'm going to go research and look. And Charlie Kirk was the first person that was like, if you need guidance of your answers to your questions, here it is. Here's where to look, and here's the history. And I think what message really stood out to me from him, gosh, there's so many, I can't even really think of the one. And it's not really a message to us, but it was something that he said himself. As a believer, when it is his time, he wants to go out knowing that he made impact on people's lives. And that's what I want to do. I feel like we should have more people that should be able to speak our opinion, even on parties that I don't agree with. It's called freedom of speech for a reason. And he really showed that that is possible. And I want to keep on.
Awesome. How important do you feel freedom of speech is? I mean, Charlie did it better than anyone, and I think he platformed more of his opposition than anyone ever. He was like, "You disagree? Here's a microphone. Tell me your thoughts." Right. So, how important is that process to you?
Well, like now, you're doing this. It's really important for people to understand that it is okay to have a different opinion, and violence is not the answer. I mean, there are some people out there that give us dirty looks, but you know what? It's civil, and it should always be like that. I should be able to say, hey, I'm a Trump supporter. I voted for Trump, and I'm going to heaven when I die. I should be able to freely say that. Somebody should be able to freely say, I like Chevys over Fords. Like, anything is considered free speech, but violence is never the answer.
Yeah. Do you think in the wake of this tragedy, now that we've lost Charlie, do you think other people will pick up that bloody microphone and carry this journey on? And if so, is that number going to go up? I know, in my opinion, Charlie can't be replaced as an individual, of course. But do you think maybe the masses pick up and kind of replace him with volume?
I completely think that was our woke moment. Somebody's life, he was a father. He was a husband, and he was a son. He was a brother to all of us in Christ. I do think that people are going to start speaking louder. I did. And I think that more violent things will probably happen. It's just the way that this is going. Look at the girl, what happened to her on the train. There's violence all around us. It's gonna happen. No matter what laws or what rules you place into effect, people break the laws. People break rules going 5 miles over the speed limit. Breaking the law is going to happen. But I think that this was a woke-up call for all of us. Even some people on the left party were like, I don't agree with Trump, and there's some things I don't agree with Trump on. But they will never let a left person in the party control our country again, because this is the kind of stuff that happens. They don't like guns, but they resolve to violence. Trump was shot at twice. Charlie was shot and killed. It's gonna happen. And today I was checking social media. I can't stay off of it. What happened was completely heartbreaking and devastating, and I didn't even know him. And I've been following him for years. I didn't even know him, but I felt it in my soul and in my spirit. I know he's a lot safer now, a lot safer. But I've been just checking social media, and somebody had pointed out when Charlie Kirk died, he had about 3.1 million followers. And as of today, he had over 6 million.
Oh, I hadn't heard that. I didn't look at that stat. So I'm glad you just shared that. Yeah. Okay.
And it's just people going through his videos, seeing the kind of person he is. Because I know a lot of debaters like this, like, you're giving me the microphone. A lot of people would be like, nope, shut up, you're wrong. But Charlie Kirk was like, hey, speak. I want to hear why you think this and why you feel it. Yeah. He wanted to understand us, and nobody can replace him. We can only try. And that's what we're here to do every week now. I'll be more prepared.
You'll have your opening speech next week.
I'll bring water.
Oh, yeah, that too. So in closing, do you have any message that you'd like to share with anyone watching at home that maybe wasn't here tonight? Just anything, your own personal thoughts, any messaging you'd like to send to any viewers?
Do it. Just do it. If you're nervous, scared, just do it. Stay safe. Do it. I mean, I did it. What me and my husband always say, full send it. And look at this great outcome that happened to me when I pushed through that anxiety. I pushed through, oh my gosh, I know nobody here and I'm about to speak in front of 50 people. I pushed through it. And so many people were saying, you did good. I was right moment, right time. And that could be you if you just do it.
Yeah, I think most people that watch Charlie's process and progress would acknowledge how courageous he was to get up in front of people that opposed him day after day after day. Because even getting up in front of people you agree with can be hard enough. Yeah. And he got up in front of people that absolutely wanted to rip his head off. And he said, here's the microphone.
Yep, on top of death threats, because I know that he got some. I mean, he may not post it publicly, but in anything that you do with debates, whether it's where to go to dinner, you're going to have flashbacks. And he still went out there and said, this is my calling. It may not be the safest position to be in, but he's going to do that because that was his calling. That was what his purpose is on life. And he did it. And he did it proud and true and right in every aspect. And he was such a respectful, even on the left, like Dean and Parker both made videos after Charlie Kirk died saying, listen, I didn't like him. I did not agree with him. And they made sure that the world knew that Dean and Parker did not really agree with Charlie. He said, but violence is never the answer. So I hope that people will wake up and see that we need to make a change, whether it's just walking around a small little town in St. Augustine, whether it's making videos to the public, whether it's doing interviews, whether it's just praying for yourself, like in an alone spot. The smallest thing matters the most. And that is what I found in real life. So if we can keep that mindset, just do it. Take a minute, breathe in, breathe out, go for it.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on working up the courage to host your first event. Job well done. I'm proud of you. I think Charlie would be proud of you to take those first steps. You never know where it's going to go. So keep the momentum going. I wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much for hosting the event, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Way to go.
Thank you.